Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy 1 on the NES. My name is Zane, better known as the King Bahamut, and in the last episode, we went to Gurgu Volcano, and we defeated the fiend Carrie the Merilith, and restored the fire orb to its full brilliance. In this episode, we are going to be setting off for the next dungeon that houses the next elemental orb, which is on the northern continents. That is not the correct button combination. Thank you very much. So if I bring up the map here. So we want to start by heading west from here towards the Cardia Isles, aka the Dragon Islands. And from there, we want to go westward. And if you'll see on the map, there's actually a town here, very small town. I cannot land there. So unfortunately, because we have, because our airship can only land on plains, it can't even land in the marshes, we do have to try and find a place to park our airship, which may take me a minute, because it seems like I don't actually remember. Here, this looks like a good spot. So then we want to follow this river and run into encounters. Give me a minute. Oh, wow. From that encounter, Lewis gets a level up. I didn't do any grinding off screen, although I probably should have, because as you can imagine, we have a new town, and that means that we also have new equipment to purchase. Which we will probably need because we're getting encounters again. And we're getting poisoned. Good fun for everybody. I'll see you in a minute. Alright, and after dealing with that battle, we go to this town. This is the town of Onrac. Talk to this girl. My legs are so beautiful. It's nice to have legs. Underhill, the Cavern Master, had something very strange. Or Caravan Master, I should say. Have you found Oxy Ale? Until 200 years ago, the mermaids lived in the shrine. Then it sank in fire and smoke. The mermaids? Huh, that's interesting. There are mermaids here. Talk to this pirate-looking dude. Avast ye landlubbers, stay out of me way. Talk to Mohawk guy. Kope says he saw a shining object fall. And this guy here, I think, is... This town used to be prosperous 200 years ago. So, anyways, as you might expect, we have some magic shops here. Let's talk to this lady first. You have legs! I do indeed. I don't know why you are surprised by that. My father runs the caravan. He is having a closeout sale near the Oasis in the Western Desert. Now that might be a good hint to remember for later. Talk to this monk. My brother, Dr. Une, has stuttered Lefianish, the language of the Sky Warriors. If he had the slab, he could teach it. Fables say that when the shrine sank, many treasures were lost. Also, they tell of a cryptic stone plate. So that might be an important thing to remember for later. But before we do anything, let's go over this a ways. I went the wrong direction again. We're supposed to... I wanted to go up this a ways, because we have some new magic to get at the shops here. Although, to be honest, Onrac's spell selection is kind of not great. We have the Saber spell and the Blind. Saber does not work correctly. Blind blinds enemies, can be kind of useful, but given how expensive equipment is, I'd honestly recommend you would ignore the black magic shop here. However, in the white magic shop, we have a rub, which prevents from instant death spells from working, and the Heal 3 spell, which is very useful. I am a couple thousand gold short of buying it, but I will make sure to come back and purchase it if and when we get the chance. which we should be able to have the chance before too long. I don't think that there's any equipment. There's an equipment or weapon shop here. Yep. Get in my range. My name is Cope. I saw it north near the waterfall. Believe me, I think it was a robot. Talk to this lady. I made a submarine to save the mermaids, but to go deep enough it will require oxy-ale. So, oxy-ale. That sounds like a interesting name for a ale brand. Oh, and we have a Cardia dragon here. Well, well, I see you have been honored. He recognizes that his king deemed us worthy. So, we do have another dungeon to visit if we follow this river upstream. Unfortunately, I think that this dungeon is actually, you don't need to do it now, but I recommend you do it while we are here, because it will give you a little bit of extra treasure, and which means extra funding for any of the spells that you might want to purchase from Onrac. Which in my case is only one spell, but that's not really the important part here. So let's just switch our party around. I'm actually going to go back to the inn and heal real quick before I trek to the dungeon. So see you in just a minute. And just like that, my character gets a level up. And he's also back down to less than 300 HP, so... Oh, I am really starting to hate those Ocho enemies because they are very keen to poison me, and it seems to happen every bloody time I run into them. But anyways, follow the river north here. Like I said, this dungeon that we have coming up, you don't need to do this yet. You will need to do it at some point, but you don't need to do it while we're here. But I do recommend doing it. Oh god, that was 100 damage to my character. That's not good. Run. Everybody run away, please. Please and thank you. Please stop hitting me, thank you. I think that my red mage is going to need to upgrade his armor soon because he is taking a lot of damage. And that is, that bodes poorly for this area because you're technically meant to do this dungeon a little bit later on. But anyways, go into this waterfall here. And we have a dungeon inside a waterfall. Because as video game logic dictates, there's always something behind a waterfall. And we have nightmares here. These enemies, I think we encountered them in the Castle of Ordeals. So that's about how strong they are compared to everything else we've been facing. Thankfully, I don't think that they're going to be too much of a problem. But we shall see. Well, they can dodge. And they can sponge physical attacks. I remember them being weak to ice, which is why I'm using ice on them. And that seems like my memory was correct. Let's just use the Zeus Gauntlet for some free... excuse me, some free party damage on them. I don't have enough Ice 2 charges. Now the nice thing is that now that we have the exit spell on Risa, it means that we can leave this dungeon without having to walk all the way out. Assuming that we have the spell charges to use it, which we should. I think we do indeed have enough. Now, fortunately for this dungeon, I think that it's easier to navigate than it looks, because most of the paths seem to be just go left, according to the guide that I have been consulting. Ah, the snorting. I don't remember what that does. I think it's a status move. I know that much, but I don't remember what exactly what exact status it inflicts. All right. So anyways, follow pathways and get in a fight. Ooh, mud golems. These guys I remember hitting kind of hard, so best be careful when facing them. I don't know what would actually be the most effective spell to use. Oh, they cast fast on themselves. That's right. That's actually kind of dangerous because it means that they have high enough attack as is, and they can fast themselves, which means that they get a lot of hits, do a lot of damage. Come on, guys. So after we heal up, Brian, how? Oh, Brian can just kill one of them. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head what a lot of enemies whose weakness isn't obvious, at the very least, what their weakness to, what elements they're weak to. So a lot of sort of blind guessing on that front with what elemental damage enemies take. I think it's this path we want to go down. Yep. More mud golems. Thankfully there's only one, so we can just clock it on the head a few times. And the nice thing is that now that Lewis has the cat claw knife, he's actually doing somewhat decent damage. Somewhat decent regular attack damage. Man, it's just so many enemies. He's kind of annoying, not going to lie, but honestly this would probably be a short episode. A comparatively short episode at least, because this dungeon is not very long. At least it doesn't seem to be very long as far as I'm aware. And with that out of the way, follow the pathway down. I really hope I'm going the right way. I think this is the correct thing. Whoops. Oh, this is a booby trap space. I kind of forgot about this, so... Thankfully, I think most of these enemies are weak to fire. The only one I'm less certain about is the Perilisks there. But I think that most of these... I mean, the mummies obviously are weak to fire and harm, because they undead, but I'm not as certain about the rest of them. But we shall see. Yep. Alright. That Fire 2 spell got rid of... yeah, it seems like the Perilisks are resistant to fire, actually, so... Thankfully, I think this spell should take care of those two mummies. And that one cockatrice. Yep. Easy peasy. Oh. I guess the Perilisks don't have that much health in the first place. We get a good, nice chunk of change from that. Take this cube. With it, you can transfer to the floating castle. We will not be going to said floating castle, but we get a wizard staff. a ribbon, some money, pretty healthy sum of money, which is good. And we get defense. The defense is a sword, and it's a very, very good sword because it can actually be equipped by both the red mage and the fighter, and I think also the ninja. Don't quote me on that. I am actually going to equip it to my character, my red mage, mostly because Brian really does not need the extra attack power. But anyways, we did what we came here to do, so how's about we use the exit spell? And voila, we're back out of the dungeon. No need to schlep through more random encounters. We can just get the hell out and get on with our lives. So now that you have the cube and you are done with that dungeon, you probably will be thinking that you'll want to spend a bunch of money on magic back at Onrac. I recommend that you don't do that because there's actually something that you're going to need a very healthy sum of money for to progress the story. So if you want to save out on a little bit of grinding, then I recommend that you hold off on buying new spells for a minute. Now, also, I should mention the wizard staff that we picked up. That actually is a magic casting weapon. It will cast Confuse on all enemies, which is not as helpful as some of the other usable pieces of equipment, but it can actually be... I'm actually going to try using that on Risa just to give her a little bit of something extra she can do in battles where her healing is not explicitly needed. And we have green peds, so many enemies that can inflict poison in this part of the world. And I really do need to equip my character with a new piece of armor. I think that we will be getting a new piece of armor in the next dungeon that we have coming up. So I don't think it will be too terribly long of a wait before he gets some new armor, but he could probably use some, because that chainmail is starting to really outlive its usefulness. Anyways, we have to real quick follow the river back to our airship and run away from battles. Alright, so back here at our airship. God damn it. Oh, we have an Ankylo, aka the Desert Beretta. The red Ankylos, if you remember way back when we went to the Cardia Islands, those guys kind of effed me up hard. Alright, so unfortunately the wizard staff doesn't really work as well as I would kind of like it to. And that Ice 3 spell did less than I was hoping it would do. I'm kind of disappointed that they changed the Ankylo enemies in future versions of the game to be something else other than Ankylosaurs, because I mean, maybe this is just me being a dinosaur fan, but I really quite like seeing the dinosaurs in this game. They have it's like they made the Tyro enemies and another enemy that we may encounter at a later point of the game into the Allosaurus and Tyrannosaurus, which tickles my pickle, which I'm sorry you had to think about the image of my pickle being tickled. I don't know where my commentary is going in this episode. I'm feeling quite energetic because it's not hot as balls in my room anymore. But anyways, we go to this patch in the desert, this little patch of sand in the middle of trees, and we have the Oasis Shop here. welcome. We can buy this bottle for 50,000 G. This item is important for story progression, so do make sure to pick it up before you attempt to buy any magic. And with boarding our airship once again, fly back down here. Actually, what we want to do is we don't want to go back to Onrac just yet. First, we want to find the town of Gaia, which is all the bloody way over here. And by here, I mean, I can't navigate this world without bringing up my map periodically. Okay, so we're not far away. No big whoop. Anyways, land at the town of Gaia. And I believe what we want to do is we want to head ups over here. That was not correct. I think it's actually a bit more this-a-ways. So up and around, and around, and around, and around, and around. And townspeople getting in my way. This is the way to the Tier 8 magic shop. Which, actually, you know what? I feel like showing that off right now. So, the Tier 8 magic. The white magic shop here has Fade, aka the Holy Spell, Wall, which will, I think, boost damage reduction, and Exfer, aka Dispel, which does not work correctly. I don't think I have any Tier 8 spell charges. I do not. So I can't actually use any of these magics. But I do recommend, that you keep an eye on him. And at the black magic shop we have Stop. I was gonna make a hammer time joke, but that's too obvious. Zap, which has an exclamation point for some reason, and the porn spell, as I like to call it, XXXX. Which is actually one too many X for it to actually be porn, but just indulge me on this one. These are all pretty much instant kill spells. Actually, the stop spell just paralyzes all enemies. But Zap can potentially inflict instant death on an entire enemy party, and the porn spell, I believe, inflicts instant death. It's basically a better version of the rub spell. I don't really recommend using these spells too often because even though instant death is useful, the amount of spell charges you get for Tier 8 magic is obviously quite limited compared to the amount that you would have for pretty much any other spell. So you're not really going to have a lot of opportunities to cast them, and as you see, we run into enemies a lot in this game. But anyways, go over here. There's nothing here, supposedly. But if you go and you open the bottle, pop! A fairy appears and then is gone. And by gone, I mean right one space over from where we are. That pirate trapped me in the bottle. I will draw oxy ale from the bottom of the spring for you. And just like that, we have the oxy ale. The oxy ale furnishes fresh air. This will allow us to go in the submarine that the one lady built in Onrac, and go to the sea shrine. So that is what we will be doing next time. But I don't want to do that just yet. I want to save that for the next episode. So when next we meet on Let's Play Final Fantasy I, I will have done a teeny bit of grinding to get money for the Heal 3 spell back in Onrac. Just enough to get my characters to I think just one more level, I'd say. And I will buy the Heal 3 spell from Onrac, and then I will meet you back at the Sea Shrine. So until next time, this has been Zane, better known as the King Bahamut, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.